Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. Please join me, if you like, on my hike through this very fresh, cool, nice forest at these very moderate temperatures that we have right now in Germany, while I vent a little bit about the pitiful state of the German economy. And I also want to explain to you guys, or give my opinion at least, about the reasons for that. That has a lot to do with the Green Party, with the current government. Let's look at the data first. Not that much, but the International Monetary Fund, they have released some numbers now, and these numbers, well, they have been known, I think. They compared large economies, so not Malta and Liechtenstein, but Germany and other larger economies. And Germany is really at the end when it comes to GDP growth. They are at the last position. And while other larger economies in these troubled times of ours are still growing, Germany is at a recession. Already in the second half of last year, the economy was shrinking. So we were in a real recession, and now this continues. Germany is staying in a prolonged recession now. GDP shrunk at 0.3%, while other economies, as I said, are growing. Now, the argument was always, when we were compared to much smaller economies, or that of course, when you're already at a very, very good top position, you shouldn't expect 5% GDP growth per year. That's clear, of course. When you're already up there, it's much harder to increase than for a country that is at the bottom and is just building up. Of course, like China had, for example, these huge growth rates. That is also no longer the case, just because they're big already, and growth, these percentages, it's always relative. But that argument doesn't hold at all when you are shrinking, when you don't just have moderate growth, but compared to large growth rates, and you want to sugarcoat that. No, now we're really shrinking. And that just means that, well, Germans cannot afford as much as they used to. Fewer or less goods and services are produced right now. And in the near future, we will already notice that we are not as wealthy anymore. Yeah? And I think I don't have to spell out for you guys what that means then. Somehow I can't focus on this flower now. Okay, moving on. And the number one reason, of course, is as we are a producing country, we are an industrialized nation that produces real things, that is energy prices. And I talked about that a lot already. Price of gas, electricity, oil, etc. is going through the roof, while Germany so wisely choose to shut down its remaining nuclear power plants, while everybody else on the planet, it seems, including the Japanese, by the way, are maintaining their nuclear power plants. They're keeping them running, and they even want to increase their nuclear capacity. So that is, of course, known. And politicians in Germany now, they try to blame this on what's going on in Eastern Europe, while I have to say, other countries, they had this similar exposure to Russian gas, and their energy prices right now are lower than the German ones. And maybe that has a little bit something to do with the fact that we here in Germany have a party in the ruling coalition that for decades already said that energy is too cheap, and if we really want to save my planet, then we have to just double, triple, quadruple energy prices. And that's what they're doing right now. It has nothing to do with Putin. It is just what they told us that they would do if they come to power all along. All right. So that is one thing. Hey, now the focus works. I talked about energy a lot already, but if you talk to the backbone of the German economy, the Mittelstand, that is the sometimes still owner family or founder family owned businesses, mid and small sized businesses, they were always taken for granted by the politicians. Like the Mittelstand is robust and they don't have anywhere else to go. They're rooted here in Germany. They love the country. They would never move away like the big industrial conglomerates are doing. Yeah? They are just staying here and they're fast and they're creative and they're productive and so on and so forth. But now exactly that Mittelstand is saying that they're either closing down or they're moving abroad. So maybe some administrative headquarter functions remain in Germany, but production and even R&D now are shipped out to other countries. Vietnam, Poland, Hungary, etc. Yeah? And our minister, he still lies to the people. He still tells that fairy tale that the Mittelstand is loyal to Germany and they stay. No, they're already gone, or they're shutting down, or they're making plans, very concrete plans to move out, yeah, partially or totally. And that's a fact. And we will notice that on the job market also. Yeah, we will have, if that comes to pass, we will have unemployment that goes through the roof. And now I want to talk about something that I really, maybe indirectly, but that I haven't directly addressed so much. And that is also our whole, how should I say, our system, or how the economy, the interplay between taxation, fiscal policy, and the economy. Now, we all know that taxes and fees and just the money that flows from the industry and the citizens, the productive people, to the state, that is a large sum, or that is a large fraction of GDP or of all money in Germany. Yeah? Our state quota is huge. I think just Belgium has higher taxes than Germany, and it is a lot. And technically you could say, like, if you want to be really statist about it, you could say, well, that's not a bad thing per se. Like, just imagine if the state would use that money for the benefit of the Germans, like, I don't know, healthcare, better education, defense, and so on and so forth, infrastructure, of course. Then it wouldn't be so bad if the state had a lot of money. Of course, it's inherently less efficient, maybe, but you can control it democratically, etc. So there are some arguments but to be made. But let's look at the reality, what is happening right now in the real Germany. Are we using that money for infrastructure, for education, for healthcare? No, of course not. Well, and if it's used for healthcare, I think you know, since 2020 in March, what healthcare spending means in Germany. It's not for the benefit of the people, it's the opposite, of course. But where does the money go? Well, it goes into military equipment for our great allies in the East that love us so much. And it also goes, of course, to other foreigners in Germany and outside of Germany. And I just want to let you know that if you are a welfare receiving family, 2 adults, 2 children, for example, and you live in a larger metropolitan area in Germany, you get the equivalent of an engineer's salary after taxes. That's what you get. If you include the healthcare that they get, the housing that they get, the money that they get on their bank account that's transferred every month, energy costs, and so on, appliances, everything. Yeah, that is an engineer's wage. While we're in a recession, and at the same time we have a shortage of labor. Not generally, I talked about that in the past, how this need, or this shortage in labor is sometimes used as a weapon against the German people, and it's not really true. However, in some select fields, and if you look to the details, yes, it is true. There is a shortage in certain fields, in the trades, first and foremost. Electricians, plumbers, carpenters, HVAC, and so on. There is definitely a labor shortage there. But we also have a lot of people who just don't want to work, and they don't need to work because, once again, they get an engineer's salary equivalent every month without even getting their ass off the couch. And that's a fact. And that's totally the fault of our politicians who made them this immoral offer called Bürgergeld. And I made a video dedicated about that earlier this year. Yeah, the citizens' money, which a lot of non-citizens are getting, ironically. This just goes to show how they're even rubbing our face into it and they're mocking us at the same time. Yeah. So that is what I try to say here. So the state takes a lot of money from the people, but they're not spending it in order to at least partially promote the well-being of Germans or the German economy or what have you, but they're basically pumping it into foreign pockets more or less directly. It is taxed off the German workers. It is going to foreigners and outside the country then, mostly. Yeah, because even the ones who are here, remittances is the key word here. They're just wiring it to their families, to their sometimes very wealthy families who live abroad. Yeah. So that is what I wanted to tell you today. And just don't expect a lot of growth in Germany. Maybe don't invest in Germany right now. There might be another uptick coming in 10 years, but for the foreseeable future, I think the prospects are very grim. And maybe if you follow my channel or German news in general, the Green Party, they promised like a economic miracle because of green energy and the all these heat pumps and the carbon tax will lead to new innovations and all that stuff. One example. Yeah, they are planning to tax now or to increase by 80% the taxation of diesel. Yeah. When you know that the last kilometers at least, and sometimes even much more of it, of the transport chains of the network, that is done by diesel truck. So if they increase that by 80%, well, expect everything to go up in price. In times of inflation, by the way, yeah, they want to make transport even more expensive. So if the German economy is an engine, then what the government is doing right now, they're applying anti-lubricant. So they're not lubricating the gears. They are making them, they're increasing the friction. Yeah. And the heat that is produced by that friction is not helping either, but it's going abroad. Yeah. Well, that's maybe a very bad image right now, but a bad comparison. But I think you know what I mean. They're basically taxing everything that is productive. They're making everything more expensive that is in some way productive. And, well, the benefit, quote unquote, the money that they siphon off is just going abroad. And that's basically you can look at the details if you want to, but that is basically how Germany runs at the moment. Broad brush, yeah, I get it, but that's what it is. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Servus, Kameraden.